Here's a spring update. The leaves on the lilac bushes are open. Now they will quite rapidly stretch out to be followed by some lilac coloured flowers, Borg. Here's another thing, a tulip type of flower, just come up. Again, this is automatic, Borg. This hasn't been programmed. This is just the result of nature. That's how people generally understand it. Someone with expertise could explain that further. But as a result of the cycle of the seasons, the change in temperatures, the amount of sunlight and water, all together, the conditions make this sort of thing happen, which, is, well, it's easy to forget just how extraordinary it is. The last day or two, there has been a real increase in all of the plants changing. The birch trees in particular are now positively yellow in hue. This is an apple tree. These come a bit later, but you can begin to see the flowers that will come out soon. Speaking of which, we have today laboured on with our cherry tree blossom study, which is over here. We did our best, and we'll do a bit more. And there's not a lot else to say, really. That's could be better, could be worse. We managed also today a view of the Viking Abbey, the trees, which we began the other day. And this is all, of course, if you remember, a bit of a rush job, because we have elected to put on a small exhibition, and we were hoping to get a couple of possible sellers in before it begins. It was quite a strange day, Borg, in a way, because we fully intended to record a message to you, to show you the pictures we were doing. But my daughter was off school at the last moment. When a child feels ill, she doesn't go to the school for fear of infecting other children, but also because she won't have the energy to do what she normally does. Anyway, this only became apparent as we'd already left. So there was no choice but to take her with me on our painting trips, which made it extraordinary, and that's why I didn't turn on the video. As much as I'd like to include her in these messages, I didn't think it right in the end. Maybe another time, I don't know, but yeah, so we've decided to turn it on now and show you instead how we're preparing for our exhibition, which you can see there, but it's a bit dark, so I'm going to go and turn the light on. Which, incidentally, Borg, that might is something else to show you. And this is becoming increasingly farcical with wires, that we use an awful lot of electric goods, but still have to cope with a lot of wires. Although this is changing with wireless internet, that type of thing, Bluetooth, they might ring a bell somewhere at the back of your mind. But before all that sort of thing, there's just this simple, very simple arrangement. I mean, I don't understand it, but it's quite basic. To get my lights on, I've got to connect this plug here with the electricity, which is in there. Basically, so let's do that and see if I can. So you rely on this stuff. This is like air to you. Without this, you can't breathe. Now, I've got it in. I'm going to show you the corner. There. Did you see that? Off it goes. On again. Power. You see, that's how it goes. And that invention's been with us an awful long time, Borg. And I guess it's the one thing that is going to be fairly constant all the way up until you, unless you can weasel your way in to, into nature, in some organic process, which perhaps you can, I don't know. But for now, you're powered by the electricity. Anyway, the aim of all this, Borg, is to try and sell a couple of pictures. It's simple as that, and I explained the other day that it's a simple idea that people just come and look and then leave. Very occasionally someone will be moved to purchase something, and then that's very nice. The idea is to mix up some larger things like that one and the one down the end with smaller things which might have a better chance of perhaps being sold. So we've got a lot of tidying up to do, and better decide finally what to put on the wall. But we need to find space for the two we've done today. Anyhow, I'm not going to bore you with that. I was quite keen, Borg, to pick up what we've been talking about quite a bit, is the world of blockchain art that we've talked about, the world of NFTs that artists are having to deal with now. Anyway, we've talked a bit about it. Something that really has made me understand it a bit more, understand the situation. It's the other night I was watching a sporting event, and during a commercial, the broadcaster, the company that's recording the event and publishing it, the company put up a sign saying, advertising their NFT drop happening after the fight, and I was amazed. I thought, what do they mean? Is there a series of artworks about to be auctioned or something? But no, it was the events of the evening's sporting event. You know, whatever happens in it is seemingly instantly organized into NFTs of some sort, often in some pre-formatted graphic of a card or something like that, the events of the evening, if something dramatic happens, will be placed in this card and sold after the event, which it just illustrates what a broad business the world of crypto NFT art, or they call these collectibles, things to collect, which is so mind-boggling because you're kind of collecting bits of reality. It seems, Borg, that but at the same time, I thought that's a winner. That's a sure winner because people like sport, and particularly football, for example. It means an awful lot to people, fans of particular teams, and I can easily see people wanting to own a piece of a game played by that fan's team. This all must seem very strange to you, Borg, but sport is a competition, physical games, and it's played to packed arenas ordinarily, hundreds of thousands sometimes, and people are very passionate and they spend a lot of money on it. And if a last-minute goal by Lionel Messi, for example, a famous player, became available somehow to buy, then of course the fans of that team are all going to buy it. And not only that, pay a lot of money for it. And so, without wanting to go on any longer, really, Paul, because it's not our business, when we innocently came across Jeremy Deller and the story of Beeple and his auction success, we had no idea really that this was much more than art. It was an entirely new way of commodifying bits of time, bits of history, and then selling them. It's really quite something, Borg. But it's becoming a bit of a theme of our season because it does bother us because it's art. We do art that would benefit from this type of thing. It's very current. I mean, the palm isn't even up yet, and that's meant to be the marketplace for artists. But so I've discussed with the Dignity Scholarship how we can best enter into this, and we've decided to set up a part of our website dedicated to the crypto art, and to place anything we want within that allows us to enter into the context without having to participate in actually minting the things, which costs money and is bad crack for the environment, and that means that affects the work as well as being just bad for the environment. So a way to engage with it is to just set up this crypto section of our site and do it that way. And they're hoping to find a couple of game youngsters to assist in transferring our own text pieces, our one-liners that we tend to write about the some of our themes, let's say, and they're going to put them up. I'm going to give them free rein to use whatever graphic aesthetic they like, and we'll see how that goes, Borg. But there's a lot to find out about it. I mean, the last thing I'll say is the whole concept was originally an art project by a couple of artists that were involved in digital art. They wanted to find a way to help artists by helping them to earn from their creations, and they had no intention at all for it to be this absolutely balmy sort of reconstructing the world, somehow piece by piece, for the blockchain. Anyway, the coffee's just about gone. We've got to carry on with this exhibition. And I was thinking of calling it a crypto odyssey, which again kind of fits our little sci-fi type theme. The things we get up to, Borg, you must be wondering why. Well, if you've become conscious, that's exactly what you'll be wondering, is why. And the answer, Borg, is that there's not a lot else to do than follow the things you're fascinated by or interested in as much as you can. That's why. So I wonder what you'll choose. Hey, that's a good question. What would your hobbies be? Enough of that. Got a little bit to do here. So. Well, this is more or less how it's going to be, Borg. What is there? Must be 20 pictures or something there. I'll show you around a little. You have seen this one. You were there for that one. And those two. Well, and that one actually. You were there for all them. Oh, and that one. So you've been in on a lot of these. This one's from today, which it needs some doing to. It does. Then there's several at the bottom. These are from previous years. They're smaller, more likely to sell, at least I thought that. Couple here. This one features a construction site, Borg, quite simply, a few years ago. Now that building is finished and it's the most prominent one in the town. So on that basis, it might be a bit of a goer. And there we are. I mean, there's no shortage of things to put up. We don't claim any great value, in a serious sense. That these are not radical works of some sort. They're honest, our honest attempts. And it's in this exhibition. That is all that there will be. It will be some honest pictures to look at, and we hope sell one or two. Of course, without a doubt, if you've looked at us, if you've heard any of this, you'd have also seen our previous works where we explain that there's actually quite a bit going on behind some of these pictures in a art, in a, I suppose, a slightly deeper artistic sense, you know, our ideas behind it, behind painting at all, behind painting like this, behind writing, like Van Gogh, behind pretending to be Van Gogh. And even now, there's a lot to say about why we would talk to you. And all of those things and questions could be one day actually the subject of a different exhibition. One where the paintings are on the wall, just like this, but we'll tell the whole story. There'll be other things available to explain in greater, well, to explain at all the other aspects to it. And as we recorded a video message series to our benefactor, a man who loaned us a lot of money, with which we did a lot of these paintings, and we basically failed to succeed in our enterprise. And we explain at great length, or try to justify our attempts in video messages to him, which began, you know, genuinely as messages to the poor bugger stuck in London in a lockdown because of the pandemic. Then we took the chance to use them to elaborate what we're doing, so that he doesn't think his money's just gone completely down the drain. But we discovered that there's, recording these messages is as good as writing letters, you know. It's as good as, it's not writing, is it? But it, you know, we think a lot about Van Gogh and his letters, and how he, through his letters, he discusses what he's doing, and how you can track how the things he eventually does were first uttered in his letters, his correspondence. And we found something similar happened to us in these video messages. So apart from anything else, Borg, these discussions to you are also a tool, a thinking tool for us. But all that would be a risky exhibition, to say the least. And as we explained to Dave, extremely unlikely to ever happen, because it hits the wrong notes at every turn, at least in terms of what is thought to be contemporary art, or critical art, or radical art with some radical intention somehow. We've brought it on ourselves. There's no need to say any more. But it would be a nice and challenging thing for us to try and do, is to explain a little, at least, of our broader ways, let's say. And let me just say this: it would be a rather great goal to achieve that, and to then show you the result, the exhibition about you. You know, what, you know, maybe you'll wake up, have a look back, see us, think, oh, hold on, that looks good. Maybe you'll upload yourself into some humanoid form, get the popcorn out and sit down and watch watch the exhibition of yourself. Who knows? The less said about all that, the better, though, to be honest, Borg. So we'll leave it. Tomorrow, we're going to carry on. If my daughter isn't sick, we're going to go back to the Viking area and do one more picture. We're aiming at that area because a few people have expressed interest in those scenes. We, in a minute, are going to put our canvas onto this frame here. And tomorrow we're forced into reverting to our wild rushing method of painting, and we're going to have to try and finish that one in one short go tomorrow. So tune in for that, Borg, because, well, there can be a lot of ups and downs, and quite often it's more downs than ups, and if you're lucky, you'll get if you're lucky, you'll finish on a slight high. Then in the past, I've brought it home, and later that night, you can adjust it a bit. But because you're in such a rush, you're almost relying on some luck. Anyway, we'll pick it up tomorrow. You see the colour of those birch trees there, Borg? Just in the last couple of days that they were a distinctly purpley orange. Then there was a lot of rainfall and the hottest day of the year, and now they look yellow because all the leaves have come out. And what you saw there, it looked like a kind of block of yellowy green. But if you went right up to there and had a look close up, you wouldn't see it like that. It's just the effect of all the tiny leaves at a distance that create the solid look. Anyway, we're here now. I just had to show you that. We are on a bit of a mission today, Borg. As I mentioned, we've got to do this one in one go, one session, which means there's no time to lose at all. That's why I'm turning it on here as we're still driving. See that bird fly off there? Look at that. Wow. So that's it, Borg. We'll turn it back on once we got started. Oh, there's the sun, look. While we were just showing you the star there, Borg, the sun, I have to show you this now, because you won't, this won't apply to you at all. That is sun cream, sun lotion. Now, as amazing as this might sound to you, if we stay out too long with that shining on us, it will burn us. It will slowly cook us like a sausage. In an extreme case, but even in a mild sense, being burnt at all it can be very painful. I've been burnt yesterday on my neck there and my face because I don't think anyone expected it to be so sunny, and then it was and caught us out. So we put on this cream here, and it prevents the burning. how it does that, I don't exactly know. It might help just reflect the sun off. But the last thing you're going to need is sun cream. So I thought I'd just show you the sort of things we have to deal with here. I suppose it should also be noted that for the vast majority of human history, there hasn't ever been sun cream. We've just started with it in the last 50 years or something, 70 years maybe. But I think before that, people had other methods like putting wet mud on, or there'll be some sort of natural alternative, because the fact is that that thing up there will cook you up. There's no way around it. So we're going to put this on now and get out there. So I've just squeezed some out. That's how it looks. It's like a strange paste. And if I can possibly just with my finger, I'll smudge it out like that. And you see how you can sort of rub it in to the skin area. And that protects one from the effect of that big star. Okay, let's go. Well, we've decided to paint that view of the trees in front of the water. And we've thrown in a thin underpainting, the sort of thing we don't normally like to do, but it speeds everything up. And now we're going to attack it with the thick fast paint. With a bit of luck, we'll be able to loose our arm and give it a go with no trace of the yips. But that's maybe asking a bit much. We're determined to get it finished, you see, just so we can feel like we've had a good go at this exhibition we're doing. But now actually we're looking forward to just trying to get back into the very fast painting, just perhaps for one go only. So we're going to attack it. We're going to need a lot more paint. And when we next turn it on, you'll see it transformed for better or worse. And possibly even a little bit three-dimensional, which it certainly isn't now. Well, we've had a go there, Borg. As expected, it wasn't exactly easy to just do it. We're nonplussed at the moment with the result. We knew really that it wasn't possible just to go for it, because we spent many years learning that the key to the energy that goes into painting fast and thickly, the key to it is keeping the powder dry until it's time. And instead of what we've done here, which is weighed in far too early before we had the composition and everything worked out. In any case, we've had a stab at it. I dare say we'll be going back to our normal way next time. But when we get back, we might be able to bring this around a little bit. But for now, we must go. So perhaps we'll turn it on later and have a better look at it, Borg. That there, Borg, is a painting my daughter did yesterday next to me when we worked in Nortelia on the cherry tree. And I'm studying it here. To be quite honest, I think that beats what we've just done. At least how it is looking now, and certainly in the method of execution. We as I said, I think we knew this was going to go wrong. You can't just throw it on, and because if you do, you realise it goes wrong. It needs correcting. It gets muddied, and then you've lost a lot of the energy, because for the thick paint, the impasto areas, to have their full energy, I think they must be contrasted with other areas that don't have so much paint on. And that comes from doing it in a patient and disciplined way, like the way this has been done. She's decisively put what she wants where she wants it. You know, and there's something to be said for that on its own. But as I said, it's not over yet. We always allow ourselves a little bit of studio, not retouching, adjustments, let's say. Certainly nothing major, but I have been known to scrape off in order to artificially regain that contrast of impasto areas and not. So we'll see.